Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said Ukrainian forces were containing Russian forces on the Eastern Front and had not allowed the Russians to advance a single meter in 4 key areas in the east. Maliar said forces on the Southern Front, where several villages were retaken last week, were gradually moving forward. Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said Ukraine was regrouping 2 weeks into its new counteroffensive. After conducting active hostilities over the past 16 days and having suffered significant losses, the enemy has reduced its activity and is currently regrouping, Shoigu said, according to Russian news agencies. Kiev's Air Force said Russia fired cruise missiles, hypersonic missiles and drones at targets in Ukraine, causing damage in the cities of Odessa and Kryvyi Rih. The Russia-appointed governor of Kherson said Ukrainian forces struck a road bridge linking Ukraine's mainland with Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014. There were no casualties. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the country's intelligence agencies had assessed Moscow was considering a terrorist act at the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, Europe's largest. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov dismissed the claim as another lie. In the wake of this month's collapse of the Nova Kakhovka Dam, Zelensky charged that Russia has been concealing the bodies of those slain in territory under its control. The United Kingdom said that global donors gathered in London made new financial commitments totaling €60 billion, $66 billion, for Ukraine's post-war reconstruction. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on a state visit to Washington, D.C., promised to work towards peace in Ukraine. Modi told reporters alongside United States President Joe Biden that India was completely ready to contribute in any way we can to restore peace. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said he was appalled by Russia's actions after the UN added the Russian military and proxy armed groups to its global list of shame over the killing and maiming of hundreds of children in its war against Ukraine. The chairman of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, will travel to Russia on Friday, according to the Interfax news agency. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is under Russian authority, is scheduled to be discussed by Grossi. Oliver Varhelyi, the European Commissioner for Relations with EU's neighbors, claimed that while Ukraine was making strides in political reforms to prepare for EU membership talks, there was still more to be done in 5 areas, including improving its treatment of minorities and reforming its constitutional court. Evan Gershkovich, a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, will be detained in Russia until at least August 30th after losing his most recent appeal against prolonged pretrial custody. In March, Gershkovich was detained and charged with spying. He rejects the accusations. When the Black Sea grain agreement expires on July 17, Trofim Siva, the ambassador-at-large for Ukraine's foreign ministry, predicted that Russia would 99.99% definitely pull out. The latest step taken by Zelensky to sever cultural links between the two nations was the signing of a bill that forbids the commercial import of books from Russia. The bill also outlaws the importation of publications printed in Belarus or on Ukrainian territory that is under Russian occupation. Cluster munitions might be valuable for Ukraine against dug-in Russian positions on the battlefield, according to the U.S. military, but their deployment has not yet been authorized, said Laura Cooper, a Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense who focuses on Russia and Ukraine, at a U.S. congressional hearing. Because they can kill anyone anywhere, cluster munitions are prohibited by more than 120 nations.